Today, Aethir announced a 100 ATH guarantee until the summer of 2025. On top of that, anyone who is mining in October will mine 150 ATH tokens thanks to the early adopter bonus. We will discuss what the ROI of the device is, how to set it up, and why I bought $20,000 worth of these miners. You can use the timestamps in the description of the video to jump to the part that you are interested in the most. First things first, what is Aethir? Aethir offers GPU power through a decentralized cloud infrastructure, which in turn allows them to reduce costs and increase scalability compared to centralized counterparts. In a nutshell, this is the promise of the entire DeepIn industry, of course. And although big companies like AWS, Google, and Microsoft are piling up resources to power those massive LLMs, such as ChatGPT, Midjourney, and so forth, there's actually a whole market out there with mid-sized companies that want to deploy their own smaller models or just want to do other very compute-intensive tasks. And that's exactly what Aethir is aiming for with their GPU as a service. In the first half of this year, they already got 36 million in revenue with a 10% monthly growth. And of course, this potential did not go unnoticed for investors. They already raised 9 million in their seed rounds, but earlier this year they did a node sale for their checker nodes and they got a whopping 50 million in node sales, which translates into 29,000 ETH. Now, when you take a look at the documentation, you will notice that Aethir is not aiming for your GTX 4090 or whatever you have in your gaming PC. No, they're really focused on getting enterprise-grade GPU chips like the H100s. But if that's the case and they only want enterprise-grade infrastructure, then what the hell is this video about, right? In comes the Aethir Edge and the whole point of this video. This device is meant to be in every household and bring computing to the edge. This means that the Aethir Edge network is an addition to the current GPU cloud, and it brings the compute power to the edge. This is important because it reduces latency, enables real-time data processing, and increases scalability by distributing the processing load. If you put that in plain English, then you will see that they're trying to unlock the next step in personalized AI services, lag-free cloud gaming, and the next generation of AR, VR applications. If you are a bit skeptical about this, you should be. It's a very big promise to fill, and I think it will take a lot of time and effort to get there. But I do believe that this is where the world is going. So if you buy this product, what will we find in the box? Well, first of all, the Edge comes in a very nice packaging and it looks very slick. To me, it looks a little bit like a chubby baby PS5. In the box itself, you will find everything you need. You have the Aethir Edge, of course, you have a power adapter, a power cable adjusted to your region, and then you have a high quality Ethernet cable. When we take a closer look at the specifications, you'll notice a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chip, the Android operating system, LPDDR5 memory, 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage, and of course a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connection. Now, when going over these specs, I can't help but feel that we put a very high-end smartphone in a box. The upside, of course, is that such hardware is using very little power, it is super silent, and it can be leveraged for a wide range of applications. If you compare this to a smartphone with similar specs, the price of 1,200 euros excluding tax or 1,400 including tax is probably a little bit on the high side. Personally, I think this is normal. It's a custom device and the initial batch that they can create is very limited. It's not like with smartphones that they already have hundreds of thousands of these devices on the market, which of course reduces the production price. That's why, just as with Helium, I think once the production ramps up, the price of the miners will come down. One thing I do find super interesting, that is Aethir's confidence in their own product. Because as we can see at the last item in the image, we have warranty, and they are giving a 3-year warranty worldwide. And that is personally, I think, very impressive, and it shows that they're confident in the hardware that they're putting out there. As mentioned before, when it comes to power consumption, we can be thankful that they opted for mobile components, as these are optimized for power consumption. And as we can see in the list right here, even if you live in Europe where the prices usually for electricity are very high, like we see here in Germany, 24 cents for a kilowatt hour. If you then recalculate this, that would be about 7 euros per month for each device, which in my opinion is negligible. It's nowhere near the power consumption, for example, of an ASIC miner that you use for mining Bitcoin or before when you were mining with GPUs. So how do we get started? Well, first of all, I want to mention that setting up the hardware is much easier than with Helium because you can put the device anywhere you want and you can stack up as many devices in the same location as you want. Now, once you install the hardware, it does get a little bit more complex for non-crypto natives. When it comes to connecting the device to the internet, I recommend that you use the wired connection and not the wireless one, because this will give you the highest performance. I can also imagine that at some point in the future, your response time and therefore the quality of your internet connection will determine if you will get more or less tokens than your neighbor. So looking at this page, of course, the first thing you have to do is buy the device. When it comes to the hardware, you just connect the Ethernet cable, then you plug in the power cable. You power on the device by clicking the power button for about 3 seconds, and then you install the app on your phone. Once the app is installed, you can connect the app on your phone to the device using a Bluetooth connection. Now comes the tricky part compared to other products in the market out there. So once you set up the hardware, you'll have to stake some ATH tokens. So yes, unlike a Helium miner, these devices don't come with any tokens, and that means that you'll have to transfer some Ethereum to the device in order to pay for gas fees and to register the device in the network. On top of that, you will need to transfer some ATH tokens as well. Right now it's about 2,200 ATH tokens, and you'll have to lock them in per device. Now, the reason why they did this is because they want to increase the utility of the token. In general, this is a good thing because you reduce the supply on the market, and that has a positive effect on the price. Of course, for us miners, this is an additional cost, but luckily at current prices, this is only about $150 worth of tokens, and you can always unstake these tokens and sell them after a 180-day unlock period. To me, this also shows that Aethir only wants to attract people that are in it for the long run and not people that are just there for flipping tokens. Another thing you'll notice is that the device pays out per day, and you'll only get a payout if the device was operational for at least 20 hours in the 24-hour cycle. It sadly also means that if your cleaning lady unplugs your device and forgets to plug it back in, that you will lose the rewards for that day. This brings us back to the start of the video, which is the announcement that Aethir is going to guarantee 100 ATH per day, and this until the next summer. So why is this important? Well, normally with deep-in projects, you have a fixed amount of rewards being released per block, and those rewards are being shared among all miners. Let's take a very simple example and assume that a project is paying $1,000 per day, and in this case, I'm the only miner. That means that I'll be making $1,000 per day. It also means that if the next day we have 10 miners, then I am only making $100 per day. And if the day after we have 100 miners, then you guessed it, I'll be making $10 per day. Seeing that Aethir already has almost 35,000 miners online, you can see this might become a challenge. However, even now, thanks to the early adopter bonus, you are mining almost 150 ATH per day, and this until the end of the month. After that, as we just saw in the announcement, you are still guaranteed 100 ATH per day as a minimum per device. If we do a quick calculations and we take $7 per day, 30 days, that's $210 per month if we continue to mine 150 ATH per device per day, and we have an Aethir price of 6 cents. If we calculate that, that means that if you buy excluding tax, which was about 1,200 euros, that you'll be making back your investment in about 6 months. This, of course, assumes that you have a Aethir price of 6 cents or more, and that you're able to mine 150 ATH, of course. It also means that if the price of ATH doubles, you'll be getting a return much faster. Now, a very important note, and this is something that I haven't seen with other projects like Helium and so forth, is that there is a vesting schedule. So yes, this 100 ATH guaranteed comes at a cost. Luckily, 30% will be available instantly, 30% will be available after 90 days, and the remaining 40% will be available after 180 days. So this means that it's very crucial that you start mining before the bull run, and that you'll be able to unlock your tokens before everyone else does. It also means that there is a moving window, which means that after 180 days of mining, you'll be getting 100% of your tokens every day. And that if you stop mining, you'll be receiving tokens until 180 days after you stop mining, because they continue to release the tokens, of course. Not that bad if you look at it that way, and in general, I think a higher amount of locked tokens is also beneficial for the price, as it reduces the circulating supply. Now, if you can't wait to buy one and you want to support me, please use the affiliate links in the description of this video. In Europe, I am working together with these guys, which is mycryptominer.eu. Another important thing that I want to mention is that once you claim your tokens, it'll take about 7 days for those tokens to be unlocked from the network and to arrive in your wallet. It is also necessary for you to do KYC. Now, if you're from the US, please do not panic. I know usually KYC means that it's not accessible for people from the US, but luckily it is also accessible for you guys. So it doesn't matter where you're from. You just have to do KYC if you want to claim your tokens. And the reason for this is that Aethir doesn't want to get into any issues or any troubles with the SEC or any other government worldwide. So I guess it's good to see that they want to be in line with all the regulation and that they take this seriously. But I also understand that a lot of people don't like KYC, so this might be a little bit of a blocker for some of you out there, but I assume that for most of you it doesn't really matter because you do KYC on exchanges and so forth. When it comes to KYC itself, they're working together with Synapse. I know these guys, I've seen them being used by a lot of launchpads as well, so I'm pretty okay that they use this partner, so I'm comfortable with sharing my details with these guys because they have it already. Alright, this brings us to the question, why did I invest 20k into these devices? Well, to give you a little context, last cycle I did pretty well with helium mining, and although I rode it all the way up and then all the way down to Dumpy Town, I still have a nice chunk left, so I was really looking for the next opportunity. And the reason why I think the Aethir Edge is the right project to allocate my funds into is because, first of all, Aethir is playing all the hot narratives of this cycle, so that's good for the token itself. They're playing deep in, they're playing gaming, they're playing AI. These are all the hot topics right now. Next to that, they have enough funding, so I'm pretty sure they can last through the bear market as well once it comes around again. And they already have more revenue than helium. When it comes to the hardware, the product I tested looks good. It is solid, it has low power consumption and no location restrictions, and it has a 3-year warranty. On top of that, I know that Aethir is also actively looking to add new projects to their ecosystem, and if you read between the lines, this means that the Aethir Edge can become a multi-token miner, which of course increases the lifespan and the potential of the device dramatically. And last but not least, we have a long boosted rewards program with 100 ATH guaranteed per day per device. And on top of that, we have the fact that we are still in the halving year, so I think we are still early enough to unlock plenty of tokens before the bull run really heats up. Of course, this is not financial advice, this is just my opinion, and I'm explaining to you why I think this was enough for me to make the decision. So my plan is very simple. I'm trying to get in early, and I want to make sure that I mine those 6 months as fast as possible, so I'm earning the 100% tokens per day. This will allow me to quickly secure my principal, and then everything else, of course, is passive income. As always, I like to notify everybody of all the risks that I see. So the first one, of course, is like any project, any token can go to zero. And then, of course, it doesn't matter that you have 100 ATH guaranteed. 100 times 0 is still 0. Next to that, 1200 euros excluding tax or 1400 including tax is a good chunk of money for most people out there, including myself. And even with the 100 ATH guaranteed and a stable price of, let's say, 6 cents per month, your return on investment is more than 7 months. Now, if I'm wrong and the price drops or we don't have a bull run, then of course the ROI will be even longer. Other than that, we see that we have a very high, fully diluted market cap and a low circulating supply. On one hand, that can be good, but on the other hand, that also means that a lot of tokens are still coming into the market in the coming months. This, of course, is due to inflation, and this inflation is generated by us, the miners. So in a sense, we are, of course, on the receiving end of this inflation, which isn't that bad. Last but not least, we have the token vesting. Yes, 30% is available right away, but the rest of the tokens will be released at a later point of time. This, of course, makes it a little bit more illiquid, and that adds to the total risk. This brings us to the end of the video, and of course to the question is, where do you buy these devices? First of all, you can go to the official website, but right now they're set to sold out. They have a price of $1,300 excluding tax. And then when you click on our distributors, you will see a whole list of distributors worldwide. Now, as I said before, I'm working together with mycryptominer.eu. So if you want to support the channel, be sure to take a look at their website. So the price of the miner is $13.99, including tax. If you have a company, of course, you will be able to deduct the 21% tax, which will bring it down below 1,200 euros. Another important thing is you will find a discount code in the description of this video, and that will give you a nice discount on the listing price. When it comes to deliveries, they will get their first batch in the middle of next week, and they will start shipping out right away. They use DHL to ship out over Europe, so normally you will be able to receive your miner within a week. Now, if you're from the US and you want to support me, don't worry, I'll also be adding some affiliate links for companies that are selling the miners in the US. Now, there is one last thing that I want to ask you guys before finishing off this video, and that is if there is anybody out there interested in joining a Aethir Edge mining pool. By this, I mean that we create a pool of different miners, and then you can have a fractionalized ownership of these miners. So this way you don't have to buy a full miner, you can just buy a fraction of a miner and still enjoy the benefits that come with it. This is just an idea that I came up with while making this video, so if anyone is interested, please place a comment, and if there are enough people interested in this, then I will make a follow-up video on how we can move forward. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to drop a comment and I'll get back to you as fast as possible. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and then I'll see you guys all in the next video.